how to get through the toughest week of your life. 3 simple tools. I recently lost my father, who was not just my dad, but my best friend and my hero. How lucky am I to have him for 45 years? It was a very, very difficult week. It was very difficult to see my mother and my siblings and his grandkids go through this. Now, fortunately, I had 3 tools to help me get through this that I had been practicing for years, that I learned from Dr. Jason Selk. He's widely regarded as world's greatest performance psychologist, greatest expert on success and happiness and winning. He wrote a book called Relentless Solution Focus, which is the #1 book I recommend to people. If you haven't read this book, buy it today, read it now. You can apply it both personally and professionally to your life. Now, it's especially applicable to going through the toughest week of your life. So I want to give you 3 key tools from this book that I used to get through this, and I continue to use today. The first tool is the Relentless Solution Focus tool. The definition of this is Relentless Solution Focus is simply defined as within 60 seconds, replacing all negative thoughts with solution focused thinking. Although simple in definition at times, this can be extremely difficult to do. RSF is mental toughness. They are one and the same. So here's the $1 billion question that you need to ask yourself. Jason calls this the $1 billion question. What is one thing I can do now to make this better? What is one thing I can do now to make this better? Now, here's another quote from Dr. Selk from the book. Keep moving forward. When you have problems, keep moving forward. Stay in the fight. Don't ever let those problems win, because there is always a solution. Always. So this is tool #1 that I ask myself every day during this week. What's one thing I can do to make this better? Now, you can combine this with Dr. Selk's centering breath from the book. It's a 6-2-7 breath. So we will breathe in now together, in for 6 seconds through the nose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold for 2 seconds. 2. Exhale for 7 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, this centering breath takes 15 seconds in total. Combine that with the $1 billion question. What's one thing you can do now, right now, to make this better? And now you've got a really, really powerful tool to get through the toughest day of your life. Tool #2 are process goals, which are daily actions that you can take, regular actions or habits, daily or weekly. We're going to talk about daily here, that you can do to get closer towards your goal. So if you're going through a difficult time, your goal is to make it better somehow, mentally or physically, to make it better. A process goal, again, is that daily action step you can take, or steps, to get through this. Now, Dr. Selk talks about channel capacity. We all have mental channel capacity, meaning we don't want to take on too much at once. There's a limit to our channel capacity and what we can take in. And the number that he loves and I love is 1, 2, or 3 things you can do. Now, 1 is my favorite. That's his favorite as well. What's the one thing I can do right now today to take action on? So you combine the $1 billion question, what's one thing I can do now to make this better? And then you turn it into a process goal. One daily action I can take today to make this better. And if you just take that one step, take that one action, that process goal to make things better, that's a winning day. Don't feel like you have to do 20 things to make things better for yourself or anyone around you. What's the one thing I can do today to take one step forward to improve the situation, to overcome the struggle I'm going through? Now, lastly, I call this negative visualization. Okay. Jason teaches visualization in the book. It's essentially using your imagination, to see an outcome that you want to achieve. Now, before I had lost my father, and I learned this from Jason, I took time to imagine how I would handle it, which is easily one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, to imagine how I would handle that day and that week and overcoming the tremendous grief and being useful, most importantly, in all of this, being useful to people around me who may need it. Okay, my closest loved ones. How could I be useful to them? Okay, so when you visualize a worst case scenario, you can start to play it out, how you'll deal with it, how you'll handle it emotionally, and what the action steps you would take are. So, really, we'll call this tool visualization. I don't want to call it negative visualization. I just want to call it visualization. How will you handle that? Now, Jason had talked about taking 5 minutes to visualize how you'd handle the worst case scenario of your life. I had done it in bits and pieces. Here and there, I would stop and visualize how I would handle this worst case scenario. Now, I boxed for close to 20 years, and there's a saying in boxing, it's the punch you don't see coming that hurts you the most. So if you get hit by a punch, either your eyes are closed or you're looking the wrong way, that's the punch that really hurts you or can even knock you out. Okay. That's where visualization comes in. It's seeing that punch that life is inevitably going to throw at you. There's a brutality of life. Life is going to throw some really hard punches at us. But if we can just take time beforehand to visualize and see that punch coming and how we'll handle it, we'll be much better equipped to deal with it when we get hit with that brutality of life. There's three simple tools that you can apply today. Now, if you're going through a really difficult time and it's giving you severe stress and anxiety, seek a professional right now. Seek professional help. Seek a licensed professional. Okay, a therapist, a counselor, a psychiatrist, and a psychologist. Again, I said a licensed professional. Okay, seek help as quick as possible. Seek counsel from loved ones who you trust and respect their opinion, who may have a background in mental health. But ask for help today. If you're really struggling, go out and ask for help today. Get that help you need. And I just shared with you three tools from a licensed mental health professional, Dr. Jason Selk. No one wants to hear my opinion today. These are tools that are taught by one of the best mental health professionals I've ever known. Um, Three simple tools to get through the toughest week of your life. And, in review, the Relentless Solution Focus tool, what's one thing I could do better? What's one thing I could do to make this better? Take that centering breath, inhale for 6 seconds, hold for 2 seconds, out for 7 seconds. Identify that one process goal that you can complete today, no more than three things. But if you complete one, it's a win to get you closer to overcoming your most difficult challenge. And then lastly, in advance, take the time to visualize how you'll handle a worst case scenario. And if you're in it right now, take 30 seconds to visualize how you're going to handle this in the future, what the ideal situation is for you. I wish you an elevated life of success, happiness, and positive impact.